Okay, hello, good evening everyone. My name is Richard and welcome to the online drop-in meditation, Nottingham Buddhist Centre. For and see Paul. I'm just covering for the last minute. He's had a much too busy week by the sound of it. So I'm going to cover for him this week. So it may be that our kind of rhythm is a bit upset and he'll appear for a couple of weeks consecutively maybe. So yeah, apologies if you expect to see Paul's happy smiling face. We have to do with mine instead. So tonight we're going to do the mindfulness of breathing, and I was sort of thinking how we might have a look at rhythms in our experience, just generally, because it's quite an important sort of phenomenon in some ways. The breath itself is a rhythm. And when we can tune into that, to use that to build up kind of continuity in our experience. So we'll have a look at that today. Just a reminder that we do have the Meditation Toolkit, which is on our YouTube channel. And Kevin Seary leads a really good sort of half an hour session on the mindfulness of breathing. So you can really get to kind of grips with some of the fundamentals that I probably won't repeat here. What I will do though is just give you a reminder at the start of every stage of where we're at, what we're doing. But hopefully you'll be familiar enough with it by now to get a feel for that. So in terms of rhythms, there's quite a lot of different ways that you can look at it. But I think one of the things that when we go into Papancha, term you might be familiar with, where your mind just kind of spreads out, proliferates. Not a state of mind that's characterized by awareness, it's just happening all the time. You may find there's a kind of rhythm to that generally. It's sometimes where we go back over the same ground over and over again in our minds. Quite often you'll find yourself doing that. I sort of find myself. It's a kind of maybe a form of sort of rumination that is a bit automatic. But it keeps you on the surface of your experience, in my experience of it anyway. You don't really engage necessarily even with the issue that's coming up or the pattern of thought or feeling that's coming up. It's almost like a reflex, just keeps going and going. And there could be a rhythm to that. You can find yourself going through this stuff over and over again, and you just think, oh, actually, yeah, that's a persistent sort of occurrence in my mind. It arises and re-arises and re-arises. And that kind of Papancha, that spreading out, is just one of the rhythms that we have in our lives, really. It's a pattern that's in our minds, as much as anything else. And its kind of prominence is where the rhythmic sort of element comes in. Sometimes it's just in the background. Last week we did a little bit on background and foreground in meditation. And that itself can be a sort of pendulum swing. Sometimes, you want awareness to be very, very prominent, characteristic of your mind. But what actually happens is you're just ruminating on something that may have happened earlier in the day, or you're worrying about an event that's coming up. All of that sort of stuff happens instead of just really simply watching our breath and being content with that. We'll start. We'll have a look. We'll look at the 4 foundations of mindfulness. I usually like to sort of keep the basic structure of that and then hang a bit of a theme on. So we can look at the rhythms of the body as a way of becoming more absorbed in our experience. Then we can have a look at the rhythms of our feelings, whether we sort of go back to the similar sorts of feelings or similar feelings come up over and over again. And then we can look at our thoughts as well. As I mentioned, they can sometimes have a very repetitive pattern, sometimes even using the same words and imagery over and over again. And sometimes it's good to reinforce a particular rhythm. If you're finding your breath very sort of interesting, you can get absorbed in it, and that's a rhythm that's worth staying with. But there are other rhythms around rumination of that sort of kind that maybe you don't want around so much, so you can challenge that in your experience as well. So we can look at it in that way. I won't really say too much more about that at the moment, I don't think, other than maybe that really what you're looking for in some ways is a kind of a balance. You're not pushing away your experience, but you're not bringing too much attention to, say, Papancha or something like that. You're not doing too much of that. You're not indulging it or making no effort at all. So there's a happy sort of medium there where you're sort of being open and receptive, maybe making a little bit less effort. But you're also looking for certain things in your experience to become absorbed in, identifying things that help you in your meditation. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'll start with the body scan, normally just a good way of doing it, and it helps us to sort of segue quite easily into the first stage as well, because we just stay with the body and intensify that a little bit more. If you are in your normal posture and you're happy with that, and you're feeling quite comfortable and feel like your body supports itself quite well, then just stay in that posture. If you're quite new to meditation, and you're not sure what posture you should be in, just look for something that you feel that you can be comfortable in for maybe about 25 minutes. Don't feel that you have to sit in a particular posture to be doing a meditation, because you don't really. Everyone has a different thing. You can do it lying down, you can sit in an armchair, you can do it standing up, you can even do it walking. But the best thing to be doing really is to have a posture that isn't giving you a lot of pain. It's not causing you to work hard to keep your posture in place. One thing that can happen is that you can feel quite stable for a while, but then after 5 or 10 minutes, you notice that your body's working quite hard to keep you in that posture. So just have a look at that and see what you think. If you need to make some changes, maybe even completely change how you're sitting, then do that, because it will get harder as the meditation goes on normally. If your body's working hard in the first 5 minutes, it'll be working a lot harder in the last 5 minutes. So if you are feeling comfortable, I'm just going to take a few minutes to just relax and begin a body scan. So just gently close your eyes. And just get a sense of that contrast between what's happening now and what may have been happening in the rest of your day. You've chosen to be still, to be quiet, to close your eyes, to reduce all of the sensory input. Reduce any goal-driven stuff, going somewhere, being somewhere. We're just going to hold all of that in abeyance for a while. And just notice how different that feels. To be still, to be quiet, to have your eyes closed. And we'll begin by scanning the body. Bringing awareness, directing awareness around our body. And we can begin by focusing at first on the breath. It's a very prominent bodily rhythm. And it connects us deeply with our body as a sensation. Now we can bring awareness down to our abdomen. Feel our diaphragm expanding, relaxing. From there, continue down to the pelvis, the hips and the groin. If we're sitting down, just notice any pressure on your sitting bones. Just Try to bring a sense of softness and relaxation to that area. Now bring awareness to our upper legs, large muscles of the legs. Just being receptive to any sensation that's arising there. Just allowing the muscles to rest, relaxed, soft. Now down around the shins, around the calves, and down into your feet. Just exploring any sensation you feel there, very sensitive part of the body. And when your feet are in contact with the floor, you may notice the faint sensation of a pulse there. Now you come back up the body to the base of the spine, tracing awareness of the length of our spine. Around our rib cage, forward to our sternum, around our collarbones and shoulders. Just feeling how this part of the body changes with the breath. Now I'll bring awareness of our neck to our head, a very complex part of the body. A lot of sensation. Just tuning in to what's happening around your face, around your eyes, your mouth. Just allowing the muscles in your scalp, your forehead, to remain soft and relaxed. Sometimes we store tension in our forehead or scalp, or around our mouth and jawline. Just try to bring a sense of softness and relaxation to these parts of the body. Allowing sensation to arise, to persist, and to disappear. And then we return to the breath. Just noticing the qualities of the breath. Does it have a stable rhythm? Is it quite deep and long? Does it feel smooth and easy? Or is it something else? Maybe a bit shorter and shallower? Just noticing where you're starting from in terms of the quality of the breath. This may well change. So now in the first stage, we employ a count. So we breathe in, breathe out, count 1, breathe in, breathe out, count 2, until we get to 10, or until we lose the count. Then we simply restart at 1. This is just to help you connect with your breath. If you find yourself becoming distracted, just gently and with kindness return to the breath. Turn to your body and restart the count. And in this stage, we can just emphasize the bodily sensation of breathing. Tuning in to the rhythm of the in-breath and the out-breath, the rising and falling of the chest, the expansion and relaxation of the diaphragm. Just allowing ourselves to become absorbed in this simple rhythm. So now in the second stage, we change the emphasis of the count slightly. We count 1, breathe in, breathe out. Count 2, breathe in, breathe out. Until we get to 10, until we lose the count, and then we simply restart. In this stage, we can look at how we're feeling. This could be a simple sensation, pleasure or pain, comfort, discomfort. Most of our basic sensations will be positive, negative, or neutral. So just tune into which of those comes into the foreground from time to time. If you become distracted at all, a bit restless maybe, just restart the count, focusing on your breathing, allowing the breath to emerge in your experience, sensing that rhythm between distraction and absorption, noticing how it changes as you meditate. So now in the third stage, we drop the counting and just focus on the entirety of the breath. Exploring it as a sensation. You may notice now that your breathing has changed from when you first started to meditate. And here we can look at our thoughts, how they arise, persist, disappear. They may have a certain repetitive pattern to them, similar themes, similar words. Just tuning into that rhythm of the mind. A certain pattern will be at play. How aware are we? So now in the fourth stage, we focus on our single point of the breath, wherever we first experience it. Could be around the nostrils or the upper lip, could be the chest or diaphragm, wherever that is for you. There will be a sensation, the first sensation of an in-breath. Sometimes in this stage, we can make a bit too much effort, find ourselves tensing up maybe. So instead, just try to relax any sense of making any effort. Just allow your awareness to rest on this sensation, the first point of contact with the breath. And as we stay with this single, simple point of contact, you can get a sense of all the rhythms that are in play, on mental activity, or physical sensations, the rhythms of the body, sensing them all as we focus on this single point of the breath. And now may be a good time to just notice any rhythms that are in the foreground. Is it the breath itself? Is it a sense of your pulse somewhere in your body? Things just settle down a bit for you. So now as we approach the end of the meditation, just take some time to expand your awareness away from this single point, out into your body more generally, out into the room, wherever you are. Just take some time to notice any sort of ambient sensations, any sounds, temperature. Just being aware that when you open your eyes, you may be in a more sensitized state. And then when you feel ready, just gently open your eyes and bring the meditation to a close. Okay, well thanks ever so much for joining us tonight, folks. I hope you got something from that session. If you are able to make a donation today, you feel like you want to do that, we do have a link in the description below this video, and this video won't go up immediately, so on the website we do have a donate button, and we're very, very reliant on people's generosity at the moment, particularly with the situation that we find ourselves in. So anything that you can give us, we're very, very grateful for. And yeah, hopefully Paul will be back next week. I definitely won't be here because I'm away doing, well, I won't be physically away, but I'm doing a retreat online. So I won't be here next Tuesday, but you may see me again in a couple of weeks' time. So if I don't see you in the meantime, good luck with your meditations, and I shall see you soon. Bye-bye.